you have an opportunity that's been presented to you for a promotion and you're feeling a certain way about it. Can you explain to me what it is that you're feeling about this new, opportunity and what feelings you have around it?
The tension that I feel is that do I want to dedicate the time for that role? Um, Knowing that I can't showcase certain aspects of me in the role. I'm very systems oriented, but I'm also creative. My, I guess if I could create a dream job for myself, wouldn't be to manage things. It would be to like strategize, to develop things and kind of guide people through it. I wouldn't necessarily have that ability in this role. It's more managing someone else's vision,
Okay.
which I can do, but is that what I want to do? I'm, newly married. My kids are getting older. Um, it's like, what do I want to do versus the plan that I set in place? Is that still the plan?
So are you at the crossroads, or the question is that you're asking yourself, do I want the job or do I want the title?
Right.
So when I speak of title, it's that corporate ladder, the next step that
Hmm.
is on that path versus the job, the actual day to day duties that you would be doing. And it sounds
Hmm.
like from what you're saying is you would feel a little bit more restricted, and in essence your life feels like it has constraints around it if you took the job because of the hours, the expectations surrounding the job, and that also you would feel like you're not making as much impact as you would like to, um, through the work that you're doing. Is that right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I think the role, what it calls for, just in the direction that the whole company is going, they're wanting to more standardize things, but they already have those things in place. So it's this is what we're wanting to roll out. This is the people who's going to be responsible for rolling these things out and making sure we meet these goals or meet these initiatives or check these boxes. Which me being a planner and everything like that, I mean, I can do the job. I will be great at it. But at the same time, I'm not using my creativity. So I think even like working with you with Pursue Her and things like that, I'm able to tap in to that side of me that I'm not necessarily able to tap into at my day to day role. And just getting, promotion in this role, like you said, it'll be more traveling, it'll be more demanding hours, it'll be taking phone calls all the time and things like that, and being the go-to person, which is okay because I've done that in other roles, like management roles. But is that something that I want to do because that is what I desire, or do I want the title of that role because it looks good on my resume?
Yeah, let's dig a little deeper to kind of understand
Mhm.
that a little more. How did you get involved or started in healthcare in the first place? Let's start there.
I got started in healthcare because I knew that I wanted to help people. I think all throughout my childhood, I've always been that kid that wanted to assist in some way, or help other people that was, had needs. I remember just like, even with like our grandparents, like grandma would be in the kitchen cooking. Grandma, let me help you. I want to help. I was always kind of under her and going her and helping her when she was at the church and everything like that. So I've always had that helper servant type of um, spirit. So when I was in high school, we had the opportunity. They had people come in like towards it was like our junior year, just talking about different careers and different things you can do. And healthcare was one of the topics, and they were talking about all the things that you can do under the healthcare umbrella. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So, and then that led to a shadowing. It was with a local hospital where you got to go into the hospital. They gave you a white coat. You followed the doctors. You went in, you looked at x-rays, you saw like all the different jobs. And that's when I was like hooked. I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Cool.
So um, from there, I joined. They have this program with Tulsa Tech when you're in high school that you can go there half the day and then go to your high school the other half and get a certificate. So I did kind of like medical administration, like coding type of work for like medical front office, and that's what I got the certificate in. Um, and during high school, I did I got pregnant my end of my junior year, and I had my daughter in the middle of my senior year. And that is when I was like, okay, like I need to put this in overdrive. I need healthcare is a great field. It's versatile. It pays well. It's needed. Job stability, all of that. So that's why I chose healthcare.
As you got into the healthcare field, did you have that same sentiment of like having that servant spirit, like you said before? Did you feel like, yo, I'm making a difference? Like, I love what I'm doing? Or did you think, like, this is cool? I want to, that person over there, what they're doing, I want to do that now. Like, how did that go as you moved through
Um,
your career?
it took me a while because I got, as soon as I graduated high school, I got my CNA, which was about a month. And then I started working in the hospital setting, bedside. Um, and working bedside was, I want to say it's easy taking care of patients, but the things, it's like for me, taking care of patients, one, you do see them get better
Mm-hmm.
in certain settings. I was working on a med surge floor, so they were there for like maybe like a week or two or things like that. So you saw them come in one way and they got discharged and they're significantly better. But also it was the just things that I learned because I was so young. I was 19. And the patients that I was caring for, you know, they're in their 60s, 70s, 80s, sometimes even 100 years old. And just being there to help them and hearing their stories and talking to them and gaining wisdom just from coming in and clocking in. I'm doing my job, but the things that I gained from it, um, I just knew that I wanted to interact with patients. Um, and it's necessary. I think that healthcare is one of those things where if you don't have, I guess, health literacy or you don't have the resources to be healthy, you're kind of in a disposition. Um, and I think that, especially when someone is in a hospital, they're very vulnerable. Um, and I think being able to provide them some comfort or being able to assist them or just through educating them about something, their medications or what they have to do or resources, anything you can do for people, I think is it that filled my cup. I wanted to do. How I got on the nursing track, and I don't know if I told you the story before, but I felt like it was all God had his hand all on that. Um, but how I got into the nursing track, it took me about 5 years to decide, okay, I just want to be a nurse. I took a what they call a PRN position where you can work different areas of the hospital. So I got to move from the med surge floor. I got to go work in the women's center. I got to go work in the ER. I got to go work in the heart hospital and be able to see different types of nursing and well, different patient populations. So then I made the decision, okay, I'm gonna go to nursing school. Nursing school, especially in Oklahoma, is very hard to get into.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a certain amount of seats for each program. You gotta apply like crazy multiple times before you can get in. So I applied to every nursing program except one. There was one I didn't apply for because I didn't know about it. But I applied to every nursing program, didn't get into any of them. So I was a little discouraged. And this girl that I work with, she was in a program. She was like, hey, you need to apply here. Like it's a small, school, but I'm going here and I like it. You should apply. So I applied. They called me and they were like, hey, we got your application, but before we admit any students, you have to take a test. I was like, okay. I was like, well, what is it about? When do I have to take this test? And it was like, well, it's Thursday. And it was like a Tuesday that they were talking to me. I was like, oh, okay. So I have no time to prepare for this test.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we do have a study guide and it's like $25 or whatever. And at that time, I had my two girls, single parent, working. I didn't even have $25 in my bank account. So I wrote a check because I got paid that Friday. I was like, I'm gonna pray that they don't cash this till Friday. And I wrote a check, I got the book, and I went home and I studied. Like, I felt like I studied almost like for 24 hours, just going over the book and the questions in the book. So Thursday comes, I take the test. They call me back and like, hey, like you got one of the highest scores. Like
Okay.
you can start the program. I was like, oh great. When does the program start? Starts in 2 weeks. What? And so like, okay. Because in the hospital, they plan out the schedule like 4 and 6 weeks in advance. So I'm scheduled to work all of the days I'm supposed to have class. And
It's
so I go to
even
my boss.
heavier. Like it's more than
Yeah.
that. It's like I have to plan some things out here. It's more than just
Yeah.
that I have to have a schedule for. Yeah.
hmm So I go to my boss at the time and I tell him like, hey, I've got something to nursing school. Classes start in 2 weeks. I know I'm on the schedule these days. Can we move the schedule around? Like, what can we do? And my boss at that time, he was just like, you're gonna have to find somebody to cover all your shifts. So you don't have to quit. And I was like, what? And so of course, last minute, I'm not gonna find anybody to cover all of my shifts for 6 weeks. That's not gonna happen. So I went home. I was very discouraged, one, because like I got this big opportunity and I wasn't going to take it because I didn't want to lose my independence. Because I'm the breadwinner. I'm a single mom. I got two kids. I can't not work. Like that didn't even come out across my mind of I can't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? So I just prayed. I was like, God, if this is what you want me to do, you know what I'm going to have to do it. I can only do it with you. Like you're going to have to support me through everything. So I ended up quitting. Um, and at that time, it was very hard because I'm very independent. So I ended up quitting my job because I had two children and I was single. I ended up qualifying for like assistance and things like that, which was difficult too. Because like I did not want to do that. I didn't want to be a statistic per se. Um, so I did all of that stuff. I was able to start nursing school and go through that for the first 6 months. And we were in clinicals, and this nurse just went up to me. He was like, hey, you take great care of patients. Like, you want a job? Didn't apply, didn't try to work or anything like that. I was like, I don't know if I can work because I'm in nursing school. She's like, oh, I see that you're in school. We'll work around your schedule. Like, you need to work here. And I was like, okay. So I didn't really have an interview. I went in and the manager was like, yeah, this Sarah said that we should hire you. So
Okay, Sarah.
I see that you got some experience and we can work around your hours. What shifts do you want to work? And then I started working and I slowly got back to where I could be independent, and still go to nursing school and juggle that. But that's kind of how I got on the nursing track. It took, I had to figure out what I wanted to do and I was comfortable with taking my time doing that. Because I know that, especially going to school and things like that, nursing school is not easy to get into and it's not easy to get through. That I wanted to make sure that that is what I wanted to do before I took that step.
Do you feel like when you got that offer from Sarah to go and work in this new place, when you thought there was no other option, what job was
Mhm.
that you entered into?
It was another CNA role.
Oh, okay.
So I went into a CNA role. Um, and at that time, they offer tuition reimbursement. So if you're in a nursing program and you're a CNA, if you're full time, they pay for your schooling. So I got help with my schooling from that as well. And then also, I got to stay on as a nurse after I graduated. So I had a job for me. It wasn't something that, and that's to me, like, that's all God. Like, there's nothing that I could have done. It was Him putting me where I needed to be and guiding that. And I think, like, even nursing school, there was challenges there. Our nursing school ended up, I was the last graduating class of that nursing school, and they closed down the program. Um, so just the timing, like, even if I would have waited or said no, when I got the offer to start nursing school, if I would have waited a semester, I wouldn't be a nurse. So that was like, I just feel like that was all God. And I'm just very thankful from it. And just knowing that now or even then, just the things and how they happen and that the sequence of things, just knowing that God had his hand on it, I just knew I was doing the right thing, which helped me feel like I was making the right decision.
So let's tap into that same feeling. You
Mm-hmm.
made a pivot not knowing what the end, result was going to be, other than you were going to become a nurse because you made the
Mm-hmm.
decision to go to nursing school. And at this same point in time, you're at a crossroads where you're being offered an opportunity, but also it's two opportunities. You're being offered an opportunity to stay where you're at, and continue being successful in the role that you're in. You're also being offered an opportunity to have a promotion and be able to get a title that you have wanted, for so long to get to with
Mm-hmm.
your career. But then you also have an opportunity to explore more of who you are as well. So it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like from your journey in healthcare, like you also enjoy exploring different things and then choosing. And so it seems as though you've already made a decision of which one of the three opportunities is not the best fit for you. And that's
Yeah.
going after the title at this place that you're at, like with this particular company. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you have these two other opportunities, the current position and role that you're in, and then being able to explore more of who you are and what it is that you actually want. After you've already navigated this career, after you've already taking care of your kids, as a single parent and like having them like grow up. Your kids are older now. So it's now you're being able to see like, hey, what is it that I really want? So do you think now that's where you're sitting? Is really with those two opportunities? Do I stay where I'm at with the same company doing what I'm doing now? Or do I explore other options where I can explore parts of my creativity and be a little bit more independent?
Yeah, I think that's exactly where I'm at. I think um, just like being a single mom and raising kids and being the breadwinner, I had a plan and I did what made sense.
Hmm.
I didn't necessarily always choose what I wanted to do, but I would always have that opportunity to move up in whatever I was doing because, just hardworking and um, doing all of that. But I always did what made sense. Like it was a plan. Okay, I'm gonna start at the bedside. I'm gonna be a charge nurse. I'm gonna be a manager. Then I can, all of those steps.
Okay.
I check those boxes.
Yeah.
Um, but I never chose a position based on, is this what I want to do? I really chose it because this makes the most sense. This offers me this. It was always a logical type of decision and not a decision based on feeling. I think now is what I'm kind of faced with. It's like, do I want to just keep ticking and checking those boxes and going with the plan? Or do I just tap into other things and other parts of me that I really haven't tapped into? Because I've been so laser focused on this plan and this trajectory to move up and moving up in positions and then also moving up in income as well because I'm a single parent. So it made sense to take those positions because it was an income increase. Um, and I did not necessarily have to be in love with the role of the job. I just knew I needed to provide. And now I'm in a place where I'm stable. I'm newly married. My kids are older. That's not the driving factor anymore. So now I'm focusing on like, what do I actually want to do? And the role that I have now, I love my job. I love my role, but do I need to take on a title or a promotion for the increased pay and the increased responsibility if that's not what I want to do? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
What are the other things that you would like to explore more? Like I know that you're also working with Pursue Her as well, in that role, but are there other things about you that you felt like you weren't able to explore before that you really want to do now?
I think more my creativity. You know this about me. I'm an avid DIYer, so I
Right?
love.
Call her Brenda the Builder. So every time she's doing a hobby or anything like that, I'm like, okay, Brenda. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love. I've learned that I love building things and I love designing things, which is not something that I knew I would be good at because it's not what I did. So um I would do like little projects here and there, but like actually like now, like with our house and the things that I was able to do and stuff like that, I was like, I can really do this. And what I want to get into is like owning more properties and being able like to, I don't want to necessarily say flip homes, but have multiple properties that I manage and maintain, and get into that real estate type of thing, like investor, real estate investor, not the agent, but that's really what I want to get into. And then also just being more in my creative space when it comes to making things. Um, yeah, that's not something that I knew that I was good at until I did it. I was like, oh, I enjoy this.
Mhm.
And it looks good. So I need to tap into this more, and see what else I can do. So I really enjoy actually creating things on the more
From
artistic side
start to finish and
from
being able
start to
to
finish.
guide and instruct that process
Hmm.
is where,
For sure.
okay. Okay. So do you think that doing that or having the ability to do that, say you did go the investor route for real estate,
Mhm.
is that something you can do in conjunction with the job that you currently have now? Do you feel like you could do
Yeah.
both simultaneously? Okay. Would that make you more fulfilled and you feel like you're having more of an impact, or is that impact piece still would be the thing that's missing for you?
This will be an impact because I think like owning properties, I think I would love to own properties. I really can't, like if I have like a renter, but like having a property that's safe. That's not mean like a slumlord or anything like that, but having a property that's safe that like another single mother with her kids can come
Mhm.
in and have a nice home and things like that, or people who are needing a starter home is really like kind of like the market I want to be in, not necessarily big grand houses and making like huge profits, but just rehabbing houses so they are available for families that are starting out, is what I want to do. And I think that'll be a big impact because we have a lot of abandoned properties here.
Mhm.
We have a lot of neighborhoods that just need a lot of work. So I think starting that or getting with a group that does that to where you can offer those things to families in our community, I think is a big impact.
So, man, that really has come full circle. Like from where you started as a single mother and what you knew you needed to be supported with, you now being saying, I want to be that support for others so that they can realize, you know what I mean? Like what they're good at and can really focus on more than just survival. And it seems like that's a transition that you've made, um, from I take the career and the jobs that pay that I can actually keep making a trajectory so that we can survive, to now with the question that you had is like, no, I want to thrive. Now it's not just about like everyone, surviving. We're stable. We're good. How does Ashley thrive now? And I love that you're exploring that. What kind of made you then say, this is what I need and this is what's missing for me?
I think I having the feeling like going to work, like it's like, man, I kind of don't want to be here. So it was like, and I've never really had that feeling before, honestly, where it got routine. Um, Not because I didn't like the job or I didn't like, my coworkers or anything like that, because that's not it. It's just like something was missing, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew I had a feeling. It's like I almost felt like not that I didn't want to be there. It felt like I'm not supposed to be here,
Oh.
almost in a sense. It was like I'm here, I'm doing the job. I like the job, I like the people, but something is missing. And really, you and I having that conversation was really when I started piecing together actually what it was. And it was like really just certain aspects of my personality and the things that I haven't been able to showcase in any of the roles that I've had before. And me just wanting more. The more that I wanted before was income. The more that I want now is tapping into all of these things that I never got to tap in before, as far as like my creativity or different things that I'm interested in hobbies, things like that. I've never really had the opportunity to do those things because I've always been in school trying to get another degree so I can get this job, so I can get more income or anything like that. So I think I'm just in that place now, like where I want to tap into those other aspects of me outside of a job and just do things that I just love to do.
So, you know what I hear often is you bring up independence a lot. And I heard it when you mentioned the why behind you wanting to do real estate. Um, and being able to take survival off the table so people could really be independent from survival and decide what they want to do and how they want to thrive in this life. I've heard it through the path that you wanted to take, and be independent in your career choices, where you wanted to work, what level that you wanted to work. Where did this independence value kind of come from?
I think it came from childhood. And I also think it comes from me being a mom young. I was 17 when I got pregnant with my first, and I was 21 when I had my second. And I think through childhood and some of the relationships, I guess, that were modeled was the woman was very dependent on the man, and what the man did or didn't do really kind of shaped how their life was or whether they were happy or not or stable or not. And I just knew early on that that's not what I wanted. Even having my kids young, questions being asked like, if y'all gonna get married, y'all gonna do this, da, da, da. And I'm like, I don't wanna marry this person.
True.
But I couldn't say that, right?
Yeah.
Because we grew up in the church, very churchy. It was like, okay, like you did this, you weren't supposed to do it. Now you gotta get married, and I'm like, why?
Or can take care of these kids.
Right. That was or I can, because I think the conversation was like, you need to be married so you can have stability for your children. Um, and have a partnership, and nothing wrong with marriage. I'm not against marriage at all, but
Well, you're married now.
I I'm married now, but I knew that I wanted to marry the person I was with is not who I wanted to marry. I knew that. And that wasn't, I'd rather sacrifice time and energy going to school or working however many jobs I need to work than to sacrifice peace in my home or having to be in a relationship that I don't want to be in. Um, and it being a marriage, because also like I don't want to get married kind of already knowing that I'm going to divorce this person at some point. Right? Because I don't want to be with them. And I know that now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Um, but also I didn't want to fall into that cycle of the relationships that were around us of where I'm now dependent on this person. And even like dating my child's father, like he didn't want me to go to college. He discouraged me from doing all of those things. And so I just knew like, you don't want me to be independent. You want me to be dependent on you for whatever reason. And I just knew that I wanted to be in the position where I never to have never had to rely on a relationship or a man to provide for me or for the children. I wanted to be able to be in a position where I could be a provider, um, and not be so dependent on my partner. And I think that's what was modeled a lot is that kind of the women, like either in our family that was around us, they were very dependent on that man. And I just knew that's not what I wanted to do.
I heard when you were talking, independence represented through thinking. Like
Hmm.
independent thinking seemed to be like the spark where it's like, hey, this is before me, this is what I see, and I don't want to think that same way.
Hmm.
Like I want to start shaping like my future myself and not have others shape it for me. And so even like what I was hearing is like your dreams, you didn't also want to be dependent upon someone else. It's like I can only
Hmm.
dream the way they want me to dream. I can only dream about things that are in alignment or congruent with what they want out of life, but I'm never considered. And it also, I heard that even when it came to your children and you being a single mother, like same thing about considering them in
Hmm.
within your same dream, within your same, process. That's what it is. Like your kids were also integrated into your dream. You didn't see
Hmm.
like you achieving what you wanted or where you wanted to go as something that would um kind of pull away or separate you from them, but that would
Hmm.
bring you guys closer and get everybody to where they needed to go.
Yeah. And off of it, I feel like it was kind of like breaking that cycle because I remember we had a conversation. It was many years ago, but not realizing this till I got older that I was following the same path of our mom.
Yeah.
Like she had a kid right out of high school. She had, our brother, and then she was pregnant with me when they got married. And I'm like, okay, I have two kids. They're telling me to get married. The relationships that I'm seeing aren't necessarily what I want for my life. I am seeing in myself becoming you, not necessarily in a bad sense, but that's not what I want for my life. And understanding I have to break that cycle. I have to do what I'm being told, what I'm being pushed into doing. I need to rebel from that. And honestly, it was seen as rebellious. It really was, and it was kind of difficult. Now sitting where I am, that my children got to see their mom go to school, work, take care of them. I want them to be able to see that that's possible. I never got to see that. That's not something that I got to see. So and I really made it a point for them to see that and experience that, so they know that this is not the only way for you to be happy or for you to live the lifestyle that you want to live. It's not always dependent on your partner. You can do that independently if that's what you choose to do. So I wanted to make sure I modeled that for them and really just break that cycle that our family kind of had, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And I want to touch back on independence also being looked at as rebellion in that sense, or being framed as rebellion, because like
Hmm.
if that is the only way that they have ever seen as acceptable to live, then anything that defies that method, that thoughts, they label as rebellion so that it makes them feel more comfortable. And for me, that is something that I've had to grapple with personally. Is being I was the first rebel of the family, and being labeled as like the outlaw, and she doesn't follow anybody's, the rules of the family, like get married, do this, like in that order type of situation. And that is why I've kind of reframed that as reclaiming. So like, are you reclaimed your independence as a value? It is not something that is anything that is wrong. It's not bad. It is something that you need and that you're actually wired for.
Hmm.
You're wired to show people how they can also be independent, meaning I can depend on myself. I can rely on me to get there, as well as receive support from others to navigate this world. I think that is a beautiful value. And it's something that you've built a solid foundation on to raise your children, to be the platform for your career. And then you're now new branch that you want to go down with the real estate, um, being able to identify independence as a strength, um, and something that is needed in order to reclaim your life and your dreams and your vision, is critical in
Yeah.
your story, and I feel like in the story of so many other women, but especially in my opinion single women as well as single parents.
As we get older as women and the stigma that comes from, there's a lot of people that believe your worth or your value as a woman is tied to being a wife or a mother.
Hmm.
And while I was a mother, I mean, I value that. That was an aspect of me, but that is not all that I could do or wanted to do, was just be, a mother and raise children. I had goals, I had things that I wanted to achieve for myself. I I'm a very studious person, so I wanted to be a scholar. I wanted to get my degrees. I wanted to move up and, kind of be corporate, per se. Um, and I think just from like our family, and I know there's a lot of other people that can relate, not being married by a certain age or things like that. Like in our family, it's like, what are you doing? Who are you dating? Well, I got this person that you like, you know what I mean? Like it's like trying to push you into some, like, I never came to you and said I'm itching to get married and I need to settle down. Like, I don't know why we're having this conversation. Like, I am fine. I am working. If it comes along, it's going to come naturally. I don't need you to play matchmaker. And I don't need you to be all my business.
Hmm.
Like, I will let you know when I meet someone that I want you to meet and everything like that, where I want my kids to meet. You will know. But I think I don't know. And I feel like they still have that mindset. Is you need to be married.
Hmm.
You need to have children, or like this is what a woman has to do. And I think anything that is outside of that is seen as either there's something wrong with you or you're selfish. So,
Those are labels.
right.
That's not a diagnosis. It's not truth. It's not,
Hmm.
anything like that. And so you can choose to reject those labels too, because you know who you are and you know, um, really what you want and what you don't want at this
Right.
time. Like I am single and I don't have any children. And contrary to popular belief, it's actually pretty dope over here. So even though I aspire to have, be married and have kids at the same time, there are a whole lot of things that I can do right now and I can explore and that I can invest in that also make me happy. And I still get to be around like really dope people and still have cool relationships with kids, like my nieces and my nephew. You know what I mean? And still impact their lives. Like just because you're um a mother or a wife doesn't mean that you don't have any influence. I mean, just because you're not a mother or wife doesn't mean you don't have any influence. You can still have influences in this world and you can still make impact in other ways by you just being you. And that's why I love again that value of independence, because it is being independent enough to consider what you want to invest in, and you
Mhm.
have chosen to invest in yourself first. That was the first investment that you made. And it's funny how the first investment you made was also the first risk. You had to choose between you or this job. And isn't it funny that that is the same question that you had today? Do I choose to do this title and leave that behind if that's not what I want to do for the promotion, or am I choosing me? When you chose you and that path of going on the trajectory of nursing and going to nursing school, that changed your entire life. And understanding that even this path that you're on it's also shifting the mindset of my career has to be everything, the only way that I can express all of me.
Yeah.
And I think what you're exploring now is like that may not be the case. I can do two things simultaneously. That's why I asked you, can you do real estate and this career that you have currently at the same time? You're like, oh yeah, that's possible. Where it doesn't feel like all the pressure of that promotion. Speaking of expanding beyond your career, you actually are part of the Pursue Her team, and your role is something that has nothing to do with healthcare only. Like, can you explain to me how you came to the decision to join the team and why it intrigued you like so much?
I made the decision to join the team, one, because knowing what you do with Pursue Her and how you've helped me kind of navigate through just my life stuff, right? Um, Wanting to assist with getting that more out to the masses. So I feel like my role with Pursue Her is kind of that marketing or strategy to expand the company. It allows me to tap into that creative side, but it also allows me to use my very dominant systems plan personality that I have. It is not tied to healthcare at all. Which is another thing that I love. It allows me to still have an impact, even though I'm not the mentor or the coaching person. I'm still assisting with this going out and reaching different women in our different audiences and ensuring that they too can learn from Pursue Her and reclaiming who they are. And yeah, that's pretty much my role with Pursue Her. But for what it's done for me personally, um, it has helped me understand my path. Because
Mm-hmm.
before, I couldn't put words to a lot of things. I just knew that I felt a certain way. And working through like the workbook and working with you being able to define exactly what it is and pinpointing, say, hey, this is what I think it is. What do you think? And I'm like, I never thought about it. Right. And it's like, it's even going through the workbook, I don't think I ever really just sat down and thought about what I wanted to do
Mm.
as far as now in my life. I thought about it as a plan to climb a ladder and to build my income or to gain more experience or education. I never thought about what makes me happy. Never thought about it because it wasn't, I mean, honestly, my mindset wasn't on me, it was on my children. And being able to provide for them. But now I'm in a space, it's like, okay, what does Ashley want? What fulfills Ashley? And that's the space that I'm in and still figuring it out. I don't have all the answers, but starting, I think that first step is breaking out and working with Pursue Her, and I'm able to tap into those other things that I like to do.
Lord. Okay. So where I first saw your potential in the other things that you were good at and could really like thrive in was when I started the bakery. When I started the bakery, you helped with the bakery in your creativity as well, like with skills that I didn't have. I saw that we really complemented each other in those skills. So I was the baker, I wrote the recipes, I did all that kind of stuff. And I asked you like, can you do fondant? Can you shape the fondant into like different things? 'Cause I'm hot handed and I like my body temperature is just hot. I can't do it. And she was like, yeah, I mean, just a soaring on that creativity piece. And like, yeah, do it like this and like this. And I'm like, okay, great. And then we had our first big event where we were surrounded by all of these food trucks that everyone knew their name. And we're here in this little tent trying to sell our we had cake and slices of pie, like all kinds of stuff. And man, when I tell you our tent was hopping. Ashley was selling her butt off. And I just looked at her. Like I just stared like I was amazed. And it was called Amazing Cakes too, by the way. I was looking at amazed. And I was just like, you can sell? She's like, oh yeah, I can sell anything. Hey, by the way, like she just going like with all these people to the point where the owners of the food trucks were coming off of their food trucks, coming to our tent saying, I gotta have a piece of this because too many people are coming here and they love it. And like her selling caused so many other things to be recognized and so many other opportunities to be able to grow from there. Like I had people that we have like mobile grocery trucks here. They even approached from that event, seeing how many people loved our baked goods and stuff. Like, we want to sell your stuff on our truck. How can we make that possible? From her ability to sell what I call a bake sale or whatever, like a food event. And I was just like, okay. So the title of growth and experience manager, look, totally fits. And when I read that job description to Ashley for the first time, she was like, oh my gosh, that is my dream. She was like, I would have loved to do that. And I never would have thought to even consider putting all of that together. So growth includes partnerships. Growth includes expanding, our markets. Um, and then like there's the experience part with like the audience that she mentioned and how those women will perceive like our products and gain access to them and be able to connect it to investing in themselves and their why, just like she's been able to. And to me, I was like, there is no better person. You've exemplified this um, in your very being and breathing, as well as in the different roles that you've held, like within your career. And I know I'm just honored to be here. And for me, what she's done in my business is, I mean, we're sisters. So there's aspect, and even though, I'm the oldest and I hate to admit it, the youngest one be keeping me in line.
Can you say that one more time?
No,
One more time for the people in the
never,
back.
never. Strike this from the record, never to be heard again. Uh she can tell me stuff that no one else can tell me. I'm very much, if you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do, but if you can't, you can't tell me what to do. And she'll say it in such a way that'll just honestly cause me to be upset inside. Because she'll be like, well, do whatever you want to do. But it will be so much air and like tension around it where I'm just like, well, say it, Ashley. And then she'll say, like, well, I think this and this and this and this, and should be the focus, and this is whatever, or you're too concerned about this, and you're not paying attention to this. And I think this is where you really should be paying attention to. And I'd be like, And then I come back and I'm like, I thought about what you said, and you were right. And I then took this approach, and this is where I am now, or whatever. But it has been beneficial to have someone that knows me as a person, knows me also as a founder, and then the CEO lens, because she has such a systems oriented way of thinking and being, and I can translate that as well. Like it's so helpful to have that kind of translation to be able to occur as far as Adryane, you're moving in this way, but it's not translating into a system that can be followed and scaled on. And this is what you said you wanted, because I did cast that vision for them when they first started, and like, hey, there's a disconnect here. We need to figure this piece out so that we can do these other things. And that has been just, man, unbelievable. Like we have YouTube videos now, in addition to, having assistance from Jada West, but my sister has edited and being able to put those things out, quickly, in that space as well. So like I am just ecstatic to have her on the team and how she thinks about products as well. She's an asset in every aspect of my team, and her thinking, I encourage all of the people that work for me to think and to tell me what they think, not just limited to their role. And she's able to do that like beautiful. So I love you, sis. Love you, girl.
No, you too. Thank you. Thank you, girl.
So Ashley, how are you pursuing her now?
I am pursuing her now by learning me and being okay with being focused on me. I think, coming up being a mother young, I never got to discover myself. I was a mother early on, and that's all I've been. And nearing to the point where my oldest just graduated and my youngest is starting high school, I'm nearing that empty nest type of thing. Um, and that's just, I want to learn me. I want to explore different things. I don't need to have all the answers now, but I want to have the ability and the space and the time to do that. And that's, going back to that role of having a promotion, taking that role wouldn't afford me the opportunity to do those things. Um, so that's where I am now. I'm learning me, and I'm okay with learning and seeing where that takes me.